Today we are drafting from the 103 in a 12-team format. Let's get into it. Looking at the board so far, we see that Jahmyr Gibbs comes off at the 101, Bijan comes off at the 102. We are picking from the 103, and it's ultimately between two players, and that is Ja'Marr Chase or Puka Nacua. I think situation-wise and production-wise, Ja'Marr Chase is going to be better. So I'm going to be taking Ja'Marr Chase. Again, doesn't really deal with injuries. On an offense that should be down in games and throwing the ball, and he's going to be the benefactor out of that the most. So we're going to be taking Ja'Marr Chase at the 103. Puka isn't a bad option again. If you prefer Puka, I'm not too opposed to it, but Ja'Marr Chase is going to be my 103. So looking at the board so far, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary. Pretty standard for what you see in 12-team format. So at this point, typically with the 210, I would like to get a running back. But looking at the board, we see the majority of the running backs that we want have already come off. That being Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, probably the only two that could potentially make it back to you. If one of them does make it back, take them. I think it's going to be nice to get an elite running back early. But with the case of them not being there, we're going to have to go and take a wide receiver here. And I'm going to take Nico Collins. I think that he's better than Rashee Rice and George Pickens in terms of being the true wide receiver. He will be more productive, so we'll be taking him there. And then for our 303, we're going to take a running back. I think we need to take one right now because if we don't, it's really going to affect us later on. Between the players that are available here, Breece Hall, Kyron, Josh Jacobs, and Javonte Williams, I personally prefer Javonte Williams, and that's going to be the one that I take here. I think Javonte has the safest floor. He will have the best production as well. I think having him as our running back one is going to be decent. Him on the Cowboys, who are a high-powered offense. Last year, he was truly the number one option there. Even currently, there's not anybody there to compete with him. Averaging around 15 points per game, has the receiving upside, has the rushing ability. So I think he'll be really solid. I prefer him more as a running back too, but again, with the situation we're put in, we'll have to take him here as our running back one here. Now with the 410, I want to take another running back as they are available, and that's going to be Travis Etienne Jr. A lot of experts are out on Travis Etienne for some reason. I don't know why. I still think the Saints are going to be running the ball pretty nicely, and I'm not worried about Alvin Kamara at all. Alvin Kamara was terrible last year. He's been dealing with injuries. He's old. The Alvin Kamara of the past is not here anymore. He's an old player that isn't that productive. So him eating into Travis Etienne, who was super productive last year, doesn't make sense to me at all. I think Travis in the 4th round is a really good spot. So we're going to take him, secure our second running back. And now we have two pretty decent running back options here on our team. So I'm pretty happy with these running backs. Again, with the situation we were put in with kind of the top guys being off the board, I think these are the next two best players that were available. So having them as our starters is going to be really solid. And I'm actually going to go and secure another running back here for our 3rd running back spot, and that is going to be DeAndre Swift. I've spoken about DeAndre Swift a lot in all my videos. If you watched any of my other ones where I draft, DeAndre Swift I think is going to be super productive. For the flex spot, I still think he has that really nice potential of being a really good player. I think he'll easily average around that 14 points per game mark. I don't think that Kyle Monunga is going to eat into his production as much as people might be saying. I still think he's going to be getting around 55 to 60% of the snaps there. He'll be super productive, and having a player like him in our flex I think is going to be really nice. So he's going to be our 503. Now looking at who is available on the board, you possibly could target a Caleb Williams here. If Caleb Williams is available in the 7th, I'll take him. But if he is not, I'm fine with that. I think we can find value in the quarterback's position a bit later. I want to go through and take another running back because looking at the receivers that are here, I'm not really a big fan of them. And I'm going to take Jadarian Price. Again, Jadarian Price has that upside. He has the potential to be really solid and really good. He should be the starter going into the season. Even when Zach Charbonnet comes back, I still think that Jadarian Price will be productive. It might be a bit more split at that point, but maybe if he shows that he can play really well, they'll kind of just let him be the number one option there and have him run the ball. So he's a nice little upside shot. Again, if you're looking at our bench, he's going to be in our bench. You could flex him if you have 2 flexes as well. He's really good in the 6th round. I think he's a nice player to take. And now we're going to go and take Caleb Williams here in the 7th round. A ton of rushing upside. Has the ability to throw, should be a high-powered offense. I really like Caleb Williams this year. I think he's going to be really solid, so we'll take him here as our quarterback. Now in the 8th round, we're going to take Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft, easily a top 5 tight end, should be healthy and ready to go in week 1. I think he'll be pretty productive. I think he's going to be really solid, so I'm going to take him here in the 8th round and not really hesitate or be too worried about that. Next up, we're probably going to take a wide receiver. Looking at our team, again, we only have 2, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, but those are 2 really good wide receivers. So we're going to take Quentin Johnson here. I think Quentin, with Mike McDaniel kind of calling the shots there, again, 2 wide receiver plays are going to be running. It's going to be him and Ladd McConkey. Quentin showed that he could be super productive last year. He averaged like 17 points for the first half of the season. Then he fell off a little bit, but that upside is there. That potential really is there. So taking him here in the 9th round, I think is super nice. Again, we can flex him. We can hold him on our bench for that upside. I think Quentin is a really nice 9th round player. So looking at the board, we see that a bunch of the defenses have already come off, and pretty much any defense that I would have taken early is already off. The Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, Texans. Only one that is really left that's kind of like appealing is going to be the Eagles, Patriots, and Vikings. And they possibly won't be back for us in the 12th round. So at that point, we're just going to be streaming defense. But again, these are all really solid defenses. In my opinion, 9th round is a bit early for a defense, but in 12th team, I guess it makes a bit more sense. In 10th team, it's a bit different. But with the 10th pick, I'm going to go through and probably take Jordan Mason here. I think Jordan Mason has pretty decent upside. I think that he can be pretty productive. Aaron Jones kind of deals with a ton of injuries. If he gets injured, Jordan Mason becomes a number 1 option. Last year, there was a period where he was a number 1 option, but the Vikings as a whole were a really bad team, so I'm not going to really hold him accountable to that year. We're kind of just holding for that upside. Again, we could use him as a trade piece if anything, but I still think he will be productive this year. Next up, we're going to go and probably take another wide receiver here. Looking at who is available, we have Juan Jennings, Jerry Jeudy, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper, Adonai. I'm probably going to take Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs, being the wide receiver 2 on Washington, has a ton of upside. He has a ton of potential. I think he'll be pretty productive, and he will be a solid piece for our team and a player you can plug and play and know that he will be good. Looking at the other players that are available, again, 12th team is super different from 10th team. It gets super scarce super quickly. I think in the 12th round, I'm probably going to go and take my kicker. I'm going to take Brandon Aubrey. Again, I think he's the only one that is worth taking early on and drafting. And I'm going to go and take Jacksonville Jaguars defense, as the defenses, when it comes back to us, will be super scarce. I think Jaguars have a pretty decent defense. I like their schedule as well, so they could be pretty productive. Looking at the team, we have filled out our starting lineup already. Pretty solid, in my opinion. I think it's a really solid lineup. We have a ton of potential on our bench as well. At this point, we're kind of just looking for that high upside. Quarterback-wise, really nobody to take here. These are all kind of waiver wire quarterbacks, in my opinion. So we're looking just for high upside potential players. Again, if you're worried about Tucker Kraft not playing week 1, you can take a Chig. I like Chig this year. I think he's going to be really good. If you think Omar Cooper can be productive, you can take him. I don't really like Omar, if I'll be honest. It's not high-powered enough in the offense for me. I think Garrett Wilson is just a better player there to kind of have on your team. I'm going to go through in the 14th and take Zachariah Branch. I've spoken about Zachariah Branch a little bit in my other draft video. Him being the wide receiver 2 in Atlanta, and Drake London deals with injuries once in a while. He'll miss a game or 2, and I think it gives Zachariah Branch an opportunity to prove that he's a good wide receiver, why he was drafted. So kind of taking him there with the 14th pick is a nice little upside. He's more of a store that player and see what he does. If he doesn't do well, you can just, drop him. All these players here are kind of waiver wire player anyway. And then I'm going to go take Chig here. Just kind of looking at who else is available. Really nobody that kind of sticks out to me, in my opinion. So taking Chig in the 15th with that upside there, I think is really nice. And now taking a look at our team. Caleb Williams as our starting quarterback, Javonte Williams and Travis Etienne as our running backs. Again, definitely a little bit weaker in terms of running back, but I still think it will be pretty productive. If anything, again, think about trades. Like, don't go into fantasy with the mindset of, I'm just going to draft my team and forget about it. First of all, that's super lame. But think about trying to trade. So if you don't like a Javonte or Travis, you can pair him up with one of these players like a Stephon Diggs or a Jadarian Price or something. Try to upgrade in that running back room. I think you can easily do it. Or play them. I think they're going to be solid this year anyway. Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, 2 elite wide receiver 1s. Tucker Kraft, top 5 tight end. DeAndre Swift, really good running back who will be productive for our flex. Jaguars defense, not the best option, but definitely will be productive. Brandon Aubrey, the GOAT. Jadarian Price, ton of upside there. Quentin Johnson could be productive in a nice flex play. Jordan Mason has a ton of upside there as well, in my opinion. Stephon Diggs, decent vet who should be targeted, who will be productive. Zachariah Branch, again, more of a stash and hold, see what he can do. And then Chig, I think, will be a really good tight end this year. Taking him as our last pick is a no-brainer for me. If Tucker Kraft doesn't play, you play Chig. If Chig somehow becomes one of the best tight ends in the league because of what his expectations are, that is there as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this video is a bit beneficial to you. You guys got an idea of what kind of team you can build from the 103. Again, 103 definitely is not one of the best spots to be drafting in this year, but it is not the worst. You can still build something solid out of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the 104.